Yo, rockers, before we start, this is part 1. There's gonna be part 2, hopefully, whenever they finish sharing the reports to us. But anyway, fun facts! Did you know that Theodora was the wife of Justinian, first Roman emperor from Byzantium Empire? Justinian had a great general named Belisarius, who was very famous for his victories. But Theodora was also jealous of the general's popularity, and saw to it personally that his career would end abruptly, forcing him to retire early. Fun fact in here. I'm Shinchi42. Today we're going to be talking about Theodora. I'm going to be showing you guys some battle reports in here and what's a good pair for Theodora and what is actually a horrible pair for Theodora. We were able to make this video because of our friends in Discord. Apostle has given us some amazing reports in here. And also I want to say thank you to those who are participants of this battle reports, because you guys are making this happen. Thank you so much. And if you guys are new to our channel, we create regular Rise of Kingdoms. I would love for you guys to support us in here in this channel. Subscribe and turn that notification on for regular Rise of Kingdoms content. So let's take a brief look into Theodora. Theodora has an AoE, and I believe it's really small AoE, but it's good enough. What Theodora is built for is what most people have said is to counter Attila and Takeda. So we're going to check the battle reports on how well she is going to be doing that. So what I can say with Theodora is that she has high skill damage, very tanky when defending structures, and she can remove controlled effects on her troops. She has a skill that's going to benefit her when she is having 50% more troops. And she only has one RNG base in the skill, which is the 4th skill in here. Her expertise skill really makes her unique. One of my suggestions from my posts in Instagram and Facebook is to pair her up with Wuchetian, Constantine, and Takeda for cavalry. But in here, what we're going to actually be seeing is that some very interesting combination that, as I mentioned in my post, there is multiple possible combination with this commander, which is very amazing. This commander is very versatile. You can pair her up with any commander that you wish, pretty much. But there is good and bad, right? Not every commander that you're going to be pairing up with Theodora is going to be amazing and awesome and you're always going to win. She's not that crazy OP, but she is an amazing commander. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the battle reports in here. I don't want to bore you guys and waste your time, so let's get on with this one. So I got 2 reports in here. As you can see, Theodora and YSG did a fairly decent result in here, having a remaining troops of 38,000 left. And if you take a look at this one, it's much worse, right? Almost 200k severely wounded, and I think it got canceled because there is still remaining of troops in here. So 210k remaining and then 188k remaining. If we look at the first one, it's got defeated. Now, what I was told is that this first one that we're looking at is an infantry units inside the structure. That's why it was able to hold off pretty well. Now, guess what's inside of this one? Why it did not held out very well? Well, it was archers. If you have said archers, then you are correct. Okay, so it is archers on this second run. Now, the problem in here is that they use the archers, right? Because the cabs can defeat archers, you know, because of the superiority of cabs towards the archers. Now, Theodora and YSG, by looking into this, even though that they use infantry and the first one in here, it's really not ideal to use YSG. Now, one of the reasons why you want to use YSG is to really get the benefit of the AoE. So if you are in a big war, KVK, you would use YSG if you are being surrounded, so you can eliminate the ones that are passing by or bystanders and you can get better trades. But in a very educated kingdom that you are going against with, let's say KVK that are in the tier A, you're most likely not going to see players that are hovering around a structure, because if there is a YSG or a Theodora, they're most likely not going to be in there if there's any AoE. So would this combination with YSG be valuable to you? I mean, it could in certain scenarios, but most likely, in my opinion, in the very high level educated kingdom versus kingdom, probably not, in my opinion. Now, here is a Constantine and Theodora. This one did an amazing job. As you can see, it was able to defeat the Attila and Takeda with 134k troops remaining, 47k severely wounded. Now, Constantine is great. The combination here, having that infantry buff and infantry units definitely have an edge going against Attila and Takeda. That's actually very nice. Now, the great thing about Constantine also is that, let's dive down a little bit, right? Just the basic of it, because I don't want to drag this video too long. Constantine has some great abilities in your first skill that can neutralize some of the damages from Attila and Takeda. And that insane plus 40% health for his infantry troops is amazing as well. So you might also be wondering if the Takeda in here is maxed out. I can guarantee you that it's maxed out. And if you're wondering of the situation, everything is controlled by what I was told. No equipment, no city team, everything is in control. Anything that you want to control is being done, okay? So let's get that out of the way just by saying that right now. So let's take a look now into Theo and Martel. This one did a fairly decent trades in here. Seems like it's a one-to-one trade with the severely wounded, but there is about 98k troop remaining. Not a whole lot for what I would expect for Charles Martel, but the problem here is that it's secondary Charles Martel. Secondary Charles Martel, you don't get a whole lot of benefit because you don't get the infantry buff there, and you're leaning more into the leadership, capability of Theodora. Now, as you can see in here, there is a more severely wounded 86k. So the difference between the two is actually talent tree. So one has a different talent tree and the other one has a different talent tree. So for the better result, for what I was told, this talent tree was actually used. So you can take a look. I do have a suggestion in a little bit here for a different approach of the talent tree. So make sure you tune in. Now we have Martel and Theodora. This is the best report that we can actually see here out of everything. As you can see in here, having Charles Martel lead is actually much better than the one that we have seen with Constantine and Theo. See, take a look into that, the difference between the two. See, look at that, 36k on severely wounded on Charles Martel and 47k severely wounded with Constantine, even though this one had way more heal, as you can see. Right, 66k severely wounded on Attila and Takeda with Charles Martel primary, with Constantine 65k severely wounded. But if you look into your losses though and troop remaining, you do have much better troop remaining with Charles Martel. So what says in here is that definitely that defensive tree of Charles Martel is a big factor. Whenever you're using Constantine as a primary commander, the support tree, for me, in my opinion, I don't think it's the best. It's good, but it's just not the best, right? If I have a choice to pick if it's going to be support or defense, I would go for more of the defensive tree because you do get a lot of attack reductions there, and it's just more worth it in my opinion. And this is one of the things why I love Artemisia, because of that defensive tree. Now, also keep in mind, whenever you are looking at the Theodora and Charles Martel, they didn't really do a whole lot of great job. It's because you're also losing here is the infantry, a specific troop buff from Charles Martel as well. That being said, this is very great result. If we're going to summarize this, I would say that using Charles Martel as a primary is a very good combination. What else you can do is you can try like Theodora and Takeda and make it full cabs. That is something that I would love to see. YSG, definitely a no-no, and using Constantine is not bad. It's not a bad idea. It's, it's pretty decent, I would say. If you don't have Charles Martel and if you have Constantine, it's something that is actually very doable. Now, what they didn't try is Theodora and Constantine, but I feel like the Constantine primary would still do better because you do have the infantry buff there. But with Theodora, you do have the defensive tree, so that is something that we need to look into because the defensive tree is really nice as well. So I don't know the result yet for that one. Until we get those testings shared to us, then we can determine that. So that's maybe going to happen into part 2. So this is our part 1. So here is my recommendation for you to try. 6.5% attack, 7.5% defense, 3% health, and 18% marching speed, which is, that's irrelevant for the marching speed anyway. So the thing in here that we have added is this thing. Reduce damage taken by 3%, but also reduce damage dealt by 1.5%. To me, this is a very good talent to use. Now, we deviated into medicinal supply. So keep that in mind. You do lose the value of healing. So this healing herbs loses some value as well. But I'm not saying this is better. I'm just saying test it out and see if it's actually good and let me know. But what I'm thinking here is that, you know, reducing that damage by 3% is amazing. It's okay if your damage is reduced a little bit, but Attila and Takeda has such a high damage, and if I can reduce that for a little bit, that's gonna be awesome, right? 3% is pretty huge in my opinion for this game. And what we have done in here is that we have focused in here for health. We've increased the health for 1.5%. So slightly different from the earlier report that I've shown you guys, which focused on the medicinal supply, focused on healing. But I'm thinking that this is gonna be pretty good as well. And you're not gonna be relying much onto the heal, right? So let me know in the comment section below if you guys actually try to do this, or send me a PM on Discord what it actually is going to be turning out. But with that being said, I think what we have shown here is very helpful. So I hope that you guys find this to be helpful and help you guys succeed in Rise of Kingdoms. Don't forget is to keep trying out new combinations and new talent trees. Be creative and test things out. Don't be rigid. Be flexible and try and improve every single time. Anyway, rockers, thanks for watching and thank you for being here. Hopefully you guys will follow our channel and support us, and I will see you guys again next time.